Resident Alien Season 1, Episode 3 review.
That is such a mood. I don't know where the on-off switch is on my brain.
Wish I could find it.
That just called out every insomniac on the planet.
Silence. Silence you.
Because it's so true. That's exactly how it feels. You're just lying there like, I need to sleep. I cannot sleep.
Oh, it's worse. It's worse when your body, right? It's just like dead tired, but your mind's like, oh, let's do stuff.
Yes.
Mm.
And you're just like, I don't want to move.
No.
And then your brain tells you have to pee, just as you're starting to fall asleep.
Ugh, the worst.
And you finally start dozing, and you're like, ugh.
I like the
This is
alien with
why
the
people
cowboy
used to
hat.
have chairs. Oh, yeah. That was cool.
That was
Cowboy hat alien.
my
That
lack
was
of-
adorable.
I lack fear, so that my lack of fear allowed me to make some bold fashion choices.
I'm sorry, but I just imagined the doctor being like, oi, Stetsons are cool.
and this alien just tips his hat and says, I agree.
No, he'd be like, get your own. This one's mine.
But you stole it from that guy. Oh, shut up.
Yes,
He
but it's mine
abandoned it.
now.
He ran away. He abandoned it. You didn't kill him, did you? No, of course not. No. some
Other
people-
humans killed him.
Well, we don't know. Well, I guess you might know. So, but like whether those people that killed that guy were, humans or more of his species coming to find him. Like, what's taking so long? They lost his signal, and they're like, "Oh, he was around here, so I'm going to start looking for evidence and see if I can figure out what the heck went on, and then we can find the thing and do the thing, and then we'll have the planet."
Spoilers, sweetie.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Oh, great.
spoiler.
River's here, too. I'm sorry, my brain is frizzy.
Yeah. So,
Spoilers, sweetie. Wait, River's here, too.
so that's another plot that's going on under the surface. Speaking of going on under the surface, we also have resolved the whole body issue for the moment. Like, nobody.
Yes, his corpse. They found his corpse. Well, he found his corpse. They found his foot.
Yeah.
I love how he's just sitting there with his foot on the table, comparing it to the dead body's foot. I'm like, oh, wow. That is really good likeness. It's like, okay, that's next level weird.
I mean, for him, really, is it?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just
Even if it wasn't an exact replica of my own, I'd be like, huh, cool. Because I'm a psycho. Although I would put the other foot and move the one foot around as if it were my own.
Ugh.
I'm twisted.
Hey. Hey, sorry. I'm so sorry I'm such a bad dancer. I got 2 left feet.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
One of them's detached, but it's okay.
Just so wrong.
Just imagining trying to, like, if it ever came out, like, why does this foot match you? oh, well, you see, I'm a Time Lord, and it was from outer space, and it was in the first, like, 24 hours of my regeneration cycle, so I just got cut off, and I just regrew it.
Yeah. Or have you ever seen the movie Deadpool? You know how he got chopped in half and he just regrew his legs? I can kind of do that. You what? No one's supposed to know about this. This is my secret identity.
Are you going to explain why you have a dead man's foot that matches a live man's? They're gonna look at you like they're crazy. It's like the lab messed up somewhere. That's the
Well, that's why he used the baby foreskin for the DNA test.
Yeah, but if that ever comes back weird, like, yeah, it's like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
The amount of stem cells in telomerase on this skin sample does not match a 40-something-year-old person's foot. This tests more like baby DNA. Shut up. I didn't steal the DNA from a baby's foreskin. You stole the DNA from a baby's foreskin.
Did you switch up a foreskin with a skin sample from the foot? Oh, I must have switched the jars. Why did you put it in a jar? You gotta test it, make sure everything's good.
To make sure it doesn't have any STDs. We don't want a baby with gonorrhea, now do we?
Yes. But
he chose the worst person to take the body of. Like, in the first episode, and the second episode, and this episode, he just chose the worst body, because it's always like, every time we find out more about Harry from, like, side information, it's just like, oh, he was awesome, he was a shrink, and he was a pathologist, and this and that. And it's just like, great.
Well, wait. You mean Tab being the only doctor in town and having to replace the guy who was a shrink and all the other things. Yeah, if he just been...
I mean, legally, did he have to replace the doctor? I mean, was he required to?
Nope.
He just kind of said, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, pretty much. He was strong-armed into it.
Yeah.
The mayor, it's like, why are people calling me? Oh, you're the new town doctor. Was I hired for this? I never put in an application. It's like, no, I saw your CV though. You're good. We're hiring you. But that's not how this works. No, you're good. You're hired. We need a doctor. You're the only doctor in town.
Yeah, which also like there's an average number of like things that go wrong. You know, like if you're an alien just attacking like a random guy to take over his identity for the time being, like there's a bunch of things that could have gone wrong with this. One, he could have been married and the person was just out of town at the time. Could have been any number of things, like, you know, because like you could have a job like doctor where he's where he would be strong-armed. Like if he had taken over a, you know, some, you know, retiree or something that, I don't know, made yo-yos or something, sold yo-yos, and wasn't and had, you know, had no family, then yeah, he'd be fine there because nobody would be out there looking for him. Like he found
I'm
the
sorry. I'm just picturing he takes the place of somebody who had just died because it's like, oh, dead body. I'll just steal his DNA. And they find and like they had already like somebody had already seen it and was they were already in the process of getting a funeral arrangements and stuff ready. And he comes walking out. They're like, ah, kind of like that story about the bunny where the guy's dog attacked the neighbor's bunny and they saw it in the yard eating the bunny and it's like, no, 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 shoot. And so they cleaned it up and put it back in the cage to make it look like the bunny died of natural causes. And then the neighbor comes out and shrieks because they had buried the bunny like 2 days ago.
Oh. Oh. But yeah, like for the most part, when he rolled the dice on this, he actually did okay. Like with picking him to replace, like he didn't seem to have any family. He was there alone. No one's come looking for him. Other than for the doctoring thing. Like he doesn't have a family, so he's got a job that if he's retired or he's off at a cabin, it's not that weird. He's a college professor, maybe on sabbatical, and he's
Imagine if he tried to replace the actual doctor.
yeah. If he went, was it Rutgers or wherever he was supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
If he'd actually had to go back to Rutgers, like he's gonna have. He's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, they would notice right away. At least you would think they would.
Yeah.
Which also seems
like something's not quite right.
Like, I wonder, like, if what what is his need? Like, I guess he had to be, he has to require food and the other stuff, but like, what was his need to be a human other than for cover? Like, couldn't he have picked, like, I don't know, one town over, picked a random person walking down the street, copied them, or something,
Well, he needed privacy to actually get the hang of being a person.
Yeah.
Like, you saw how long it took him to actually get the hang of that body.
Yeah, but you like get away fast enough, just and then just go someplace else, like go to the but he kind of, where he needed to go, he stole somebody's identity from there, and like I guess the transformed body is just as fragile as a normal human body, so he has to go. He has to do all the things a human has to do. So, but
although he does still have the super strength.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, we don't know exactly how much of his physiology is tied up in humanity and how much of it is still alien, because apparently he still looks alien to anybody who can see through the psychic paper, I guess, is kind of the way it seems to a certain extent. Like, it's a bit of a psychic paper. A handful of people can see through it.
Filter?
What?
The perception filter?
Yeah, perception filter. It's like the perception filter. It's like a few people. It's like in Doctor Who, a few people can naturally see through that. It's not it's not a very common trait, but I think few people can. Like some of the doctors sort of perception filter
I'm
trick.
sorry. Now I'm just thinking of the time where they had perception filter clothing. That when Clara came out, they were both they were naked around her family
Oh, yeah.
because they see the perception filter.
But yeah, I would imagine it's that sort of perception filter. And with all the weird stuff that's going on with him trying to get the body working to the right place where he can wait until they finish dragging the lake for the rest of the body. They don't find it. They give up. And then they, I don't know what they're doing with the foot. Just toss it out, I suppose, as medical waste because it's just going to keep rotting. And if they can't find the rest of the body, and the test doesn't come back with any matches, like, what's he gonna do? What are they gonna do? And then just wait till that happens. And
you can keep frozen meat in the freezer for like a long time before it actually rots.
Yeah, but what are they? Are they gonna? How long are they gonna keep that foot? It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, but I mean, think about how like adamant Mike is about the sheriff is about, we got a serial killer, I want a serial killer.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, the foot does keep the drinks cool.
Anyway, but yeah, just basically he's having to keep the well, I think it's also an interesting Chekhov's gun of, well, not like it's going to be used at some point, but I think it's going to be. It depends on how the series ends. Like, that's an interesting thought. If these people that killed the guy in Roswell, I think, if they're looking for aliens, they somehow track him down, like, and like the end of the series is him getting away or something, and he just like uses that body as a way of here, and then they think they've got the body of him, but they actually have the body of the guy he killed to become him.
Yeah,
that's a clever way to fake your own death.
Yeah, especially if they know that if the killers want to kill him and take the body, well, they take the body and they get rid of it themselves, and then go on to doing whatever they're doing, and he's left alone. I don't know. It's weird. Got all these things, and then on top of all that, there's the other subplot that's sort of going on with the prescription pad, which is a weird sort of almost mundane thing going on at the same time as all this weirdness goes. Like, there's enough of this normal plot to make this thing, a full episode, but they throw in this extra prescription pad stealing plot.
I mean, also there's the plot of the kid, that teenage party and all that.
Well, yeah, that was tied into all that, but yeah, I was tying that into that because they bust the guy with the prescription pad, the prescription that was written after the guy's death. So I was kind of counting that as part of that storyline.
Oh, I just meant the whole going up. That town is so boring that they go to a lake dragging as their form of a drive-in, and then they go to a party because, hey, you remember JT, my ex-boyfriend? Dude, he's having a party. And it's like, did you forget that his son is named JT too? Oh,
But and then see what was there's one other thing that was going on. Oh, and the alien seeing kid made a friend. So
Yeah.
that was nice, but
Yeah.
weird.
What? It's so weird to make friends when you can see aliens.
Well, like she immediately believes, yeah, oh yeah, he's an alien. It's like, I mean, he's weird. Don't get me wrong. He's weird. He eats weird. He's but like immediately, like, yeah, he's an alien. It's like, okay.
I love that, how it's like, there he is. Isn't he disgusting? Because he sees him as an alien. And she's just like, oh, he's hideous. And she sees him as him.
Yeah.
Still, ew.
Oh. Oh. Oh no.
But he's handsome, like a young Jerry Orbach.
That's most of the plots going on. So, I mean, right now, the main plots, well, and her figuring out where the daughter she adopted out ended up. Had that little thing. That's hanging. We've got the killers hanging. And we don't know what's going, how long it'll be, how many episodes, if we'll continue next episode dragging the lake, assuming, since they didn't specifically say that they stopped dragging the lake, I'm going to assume.
No, they said they're going to be back tomorrow.
Yeah, since they didn't, well, they could fast forward a week or two and it's like, yeah, we gave up. They could do that next episode, but they didn't fast forward that within the episode and say, oh yeah, we've, a couple weeks later, they, oh, we didn't have, we didn't have any luck. We're gonna call off the search. But that could happen next episode for all we know.
Also, you know how women are with their buckets.
It's her favorite bucket, which implies she has other buckets.
Hey, don't you have multiple buckets? I mean, come on, dude.
No.
Yeah, they're called measuring cups.
It's not quite a bucket.
Depends on what you're measuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, scooping animal feed, maybe.
I got a few buckets.
I don't think I have any buckets.
I have one for salt, for the for like the sidewalk in the driveway.
Okay.
That's what you put down when it gets icy. Just, for you Texans who don't know what snow is. And I have one that my turtle is in. It's it's a turtle tub, but it's basically a giant awkwardly shaped bucket.
Aw.
And I have one downstairs that my cousin would use when they were drunk to throw up in. And then one I have for my severed feet and heads.
Like, everybody needs one of those. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Is easy wipe down one of those kinds where it's really easy to clean afterwards?
Of course. Teflon coated.
This was an alright episode. Yeah, one of the things that I realized when I was watching this, and probably brought it up before, but I didn't really connect it completely. but I didn't really realize like Robert Duncan McNeil being involved with this so much. It's like,
Oh
wait a
yeah,
second, Tom Paris
I
is
think
directing this.
yeah,
It was like, wait a second.
and it's starring from Firefly.
So all they need is someone from Star Wars to show up. The Star Wars guest star, and they've got some serious
And
sci-fi credentials. And Doctor
and
Who.
you need Stargate
Yeah,
and Doctor
Stargate,
Who. Yeah.
Stargate, Doctor Who, and Star Wars, and they'll have a nice little clip here. I imagine Stargate can't be people that can't be too hard to get a hold of. I imagine, and Star Wars, yeah, if you got somebody who was not particularly one of the main cast, they might be willing to do it. Doctor Who, if you had somebody who happened to be in America at the time, or an American that was involved in Doctor Who at some point, because occasionally they do.
Or a somebody who lives in America but is still British and worked in Doctor Who. Like, I don't know, Alex Kingston,
Oh, she lives in
because
America?
she does a lot of
Okay.
she does a lot of American television.
Yeah.
She was in ER.
Yeah.
She was in what's it called? She was in the Flareoverse, the DC
Okay.
shows.
Oh.
She played the mother of Black Canary.
Huh.
Okay, so yeah, you could theoretically have her show up if you wanted to spring for that. You got Star Trek directing, you have Firefly starring, you bring in some guest stars from Star Wars, and I kind of want to see Garrett Wang show up at some point.
That would be epic.
Just Ensign Kim showing up in town for no reason, for some reason. That's the only thing about guest stars is, like, for the most part, this is a very boring town. So like nobody would go there that wasn't like didn't have like lake property or lived in that town or there's the surrounding area. Though I suppose you could make him like somebody who lives in the surrounding area and he just kind of shows up in town at some point. But yeah, you could get a bunch of. But yeah, I was going through that and I was like, because I know sometimes, like generally towards once they get kind of rolling a little bit, like a lot of times the stars of Star Trek shows will direct a couple episodes here and there, and like usually they get a couple directing credits under their belt, and that they kind of disappear afterwards. But like I looked at it and I was like, looked at his Wikipedia page and it was like filmography. Like, wait, he's doing a lot of directing and producing. Like, apparently he's doing okay.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize how much he was involved in Chuck. That
I never
show.
watched Chuck.
Yeah. But yeah, that was relatively popular enough, like he's done little guest spot directing bits here and there, and even with sometimes he'll guest star in that in the shows he's in, like, well, not guest star but like cameo in places. But yeah, I was like, huh, he's done a lot more than I realized he'd done. Of course, he's also he still goes by and he still does little bits and pieces, but I guess he's doing mostly just directing and producing now, and so he's pretty busy with that. But he still makes time occasionally to do Tom Paris stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he's voiced in Lower Decks and Star Trek Online, so there's little bits and pieces here and there. Which, now that I think about it, see, they've gotten Paris, Janeway now, Tuvok, Neelix, Doctor.
Well,
Kim.
Sci-Fi has had a few different Trek things, like in Warehouse 13. The main dude's ex-wife was 7 of 9, and his mother was Janeway.
Yeah,
His ex-wife was Jerry Ryan, and his mom was
Mulgrew.
Kate Mulgrew. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I was just going through the Voyager cast. I'm realizing that like they've basically got everybody on Voyager except for Torres and Chakotay. I think they didn't get they haven't gotten Chakotay or Torres. I think Star Trek Online has everybody in Voyager, all the major characters except for Chakotay and Torres. They have everybody else. It just made me realize I was thinking about it. It's like, yeah, we had Paris and Janeway and Tuvok and Neelix and the Doctor and the other one and Kim, and it's like, yeah, like, did they have everybody? No, I don't think they had Chakotay, and they haven't gotten, and they got 7. She's in there.
But I mean, 7's in Picard too, which, by the way, is actually really good.
But yeah, it just hit me for a second, like all the stuff like he's in, and then I was like, wait, he's in that. How we just got Mulgrew, so like, is that everybody? It's like, no, we don't have Chakotay or Torres. There was a mission with Morale, but because the timeline lines up, that's at like 2410, so she's actually. It's actually been long enough that she could be. I think she could be feasibly in Starfleet. I'd have to look at when she was born. I forget what the year exactly was, but it's 2410, so something in the 2480s, I think. So, or 2380s or whatever it was. But it's not. It's either here or there. We're getting a little off topic, but yeah, it was a fun episode.
It's funny, we talk more about Trek in the non-Trek episode.
But do we have anything else we want to talk about with the Resident Alien?
No, because there would be spoilers.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay, we'll switch to Prodigy.
I mean, some of the stuff you said, I'm just like, oh, spoilers. I don't want to confirm or deny any of that.
Yeah, because I'm coming up with theories that are probably, some of them they're either way off, but an interesting way they could have gone, or they're right on, and it's like, oh, no, I'm not telling you.
Exactly. And I'm not telling you which one it is either.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, because that would just be telling me whether I was right or not, and then I'd know that, whatever. Anyway.